This is just a continuity announcement for the start of our episode with Alex Gray, aka Apollo. Since we recorded, there have been two pieces of news that need to be noted. Firstly, Louis Rees-Zammit has signed a 3-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Many congratulations to him. What you may or may not know is Alex played for 3 years at the Atlanta Falcons, so we asked him about his time in the NFL and the challenges that lie ahead for Louis. Secondly, Gladiators has been recommissioned for a second series, so many congrats to Alex on that. It's a fantastic episode. Thank you, as always, to Continental Tyres for their support. Please enjoy.
When they said Apollo, I was like, yeah, I like that.
I'll take that.
I was like, without absolutely screaming and jumping out my skin, I was like, I think that's fine. Yeah, let's do that one.
Oh, God. Apollo. Oh, do I want that one?
You're Apollo, the god of the sun, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Well, when you're the most electrifying man on Saturday night television, you're in a good place. 6'5", 112 kilograms, can run 100 meters in 11 seconds. My mum says I'm very handsome. Or was that your mum? And then I can't remember.
Oh, that showbiz right there.
So good, mate. Because obviously you did the sevens.
Yeah.
And then Atlanta Falcons came on the horizon. I remember chatting to you at the time, like, mate, this is ridiculous.
So you could sign a 10-year deal in it for an NFL team and then just get rid of you tomorrow. And it's the same for the coaches. So everyone's feeling that bite and you need to win. It's not a development place, that's college. We're playing to win.
Hello, Dream Team. Sorry, I was just trying to be like Alex Payne. Hi, Dream Team. It's James Haskell here. You asked for less James Haskell, but instead we've given you more James Haskell. You said the show would be good without me, but it's only me today. Alex and Tins are away, holidaying, golfing. They don't really care about you like I care about you. I'm here on a Monday before I'm flying to Geneva, but we're less one Lord of the Manor, but we've replaced him with another. I'm joined by my good friend from my Paris days, Ollie Phillips. How are you?
Wonderful to be here, James. Thanks ever so much.
You haven't aged, which means that you looked that bad when I first met you.
This is how old I looked at 21.
You did?
Yeah. Benjamin Button, as we used to call me.
Yeah, but unfortunately you haven't got any younger, though.
No.
It's like Benjamin Button just stopped one
Brad
day.
Pitt is still on the horizon somewhere, I'm hoping.
I would honestly laugh if we got to like 70 and you just looked unbelievable.
Like just perfect rig. All my hair's growing out.
The thing is, the rig was good. The rig was always good. It was just covering a lot of dog hair.
You kindly named me the prawn, actually.
Yeah.
Cut the head off, you left the best part. So you used to tell everyone. Which was always a delight as we went out every time. But
now,
to be here.
Now we are joined by... I'm so jealous that you described as a gladiator. I've called myself a gladiator in my private life. But Alex Gray, a.k.a. Apollo. How are you, sir?
It's Mr. Apollo to you, Hask.
God, he's in character.
He's in character already.
I'm so sorry.
I'm a method actor.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Apollo. Can I make eye contact with you? How are you?
I'm good. Fantastic to be here. Excited. Great to see you guys. Fan of the show.
Because you know Ollie from back in the day, don't you?
Yeah, we go way back. Maybe not as far back as you two, but looking at the state, you're both. But
yeah. Oh, look, hey, coming into my show, Mr. Apollo. See how tough you are when I filled you in the background. No. Ollie, do you want to remind everyone of Alex's varied and wonderful career to date?
With absolute pleasure, James. Thank you for that. So for those of you who don't know, Alex, formerly England under-16s, under-18s and under-20s captain, star of the England 7 side. And in 2017, he quit rugby to go and pursue a career with the NFL, with the Atlanta Falcons, before coming back into the UK to become Apollo, the Gladiator.
Wow.
That doesn't sound too bad, does it?
No, stop it. Sorry about you.
Sorry about me, yeah.
Talk to me about this Gladiators, because we're going to cover the rugby, we're going to cover the NFL, we're going to cover the sevens. You've had an amazing kind of journey, but just how mega has becoming a gladiator been?
Yeah, amazing. Didn't really realise how big a thing it was going to be. We did the live shows back in May, which was a long time ago now, it feels like. And there was such an amazing buzz about it. It was, everyone was going wild at the time. And it felt like it was really good, felt like it was going to be big, but you just never know if it was going to come through the screen. And then first episode, I think we got, 9 million people watching the show, right? So that's like, originally when they first came in, they told us it was 6 million. We were buzzing about that, which is 1 in every 10 people in the UK pretty much watched that show live on television at the time it was on. And then the viewing figures came a little later, almost 9 million people. Biggest show on TV, so...
You were just cash money in your head, right? That's what you were thinking.
Well, when you're the most electrifying man on Saturday night television, you're in a good place.
Did you think it was ironic?
Sorry, this is amazing. I've met someone who's got even worse chat than I have.
I'll leave.
Yeah. Yours is better. Yours is better. You'll be right. Have you been described as the most electrifying man on Saturday Night TV? Or is that
by a lot of people, mostly myself.
Fine.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like a difference now when you walk down the street? Are people noticing you? Has there been a real hype? Because obviously you have become a bit of a character on that show.
Yeah, there's definitely been a bit of a surreal change, you know, whether it's catching a train or walking down the street.
It's probably more surreal just the Greek god of sun walking through Barnard Castle, right? There's a certain irony in that one.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the fake tan that I'm wearing, but it also helps I wear the costume everywhere I go. So that kind of, I'm down there in the local supermarket wrestling people for the last loo roll. So no, it's been amazing, and as I said, the reach of it is just crazy. You know, the amount of people that come up and are saying it's not just kids. It's like parents. Our kids love it. We love it. Because I think a lot of parents have kind of forced their kids to watch it because obviously they loved it as a kid. But yeah, I'm getting kind of stopped everywhere these days, which is cool.
Because Ollie, you're a bit of a fan of it, aren't you? You were telling me you're quite giddy because I know you guys played at Newcastle together. Yeah. Obviously the Sevens. You were World Sevens Player of the Year, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We've got Mr. Apollo here, World Sevens Player of the Year.
Black and white TV. That's what.
Because you know what? Actually, I don't think the listeners will appreciate this, but I go around the world as International Man of Mystery, and people always say to me when they found out that I used to play rugby, not particularly well, that they always say, "Oh, I know that rugby player," and I'm like, "Who's that? Johnny Wilkinson, Dan Carter, Richard McCaw?" Like, no, that Ollie Phillips. You are the most famous rugby player in the world.
Thank you.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. I don't know how you're doing it. Is it because you start?
Why?
Is it because you start every meeting with a business card with Ollie Phillips World Sevens Player of the Year on it?
Correct. That's what I used to do. And also, as you noted, as a 21-year-old running around with sunroof, looking like a horrible grey badger, people actually, the highlight for me, or the low light for me, was when I played in the varsity match. I think I was 35, 36. And my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was sat in the crowd, and someone said, "Oh, I didn't realise they let professors play in the match now."
Wow!
And I knew at that point it was probably time just to.
Because Michael Checker as well. We played at Stade Francais together, and Michael Checker used to call the accountant, didn't he? Because he said he looked like an accountant. But Ollie was top try scorer that season in the top 14. Unbelievable. We used to play incredibly well, but honestly looked like an accountant.
Look at him blushing there.
I used to shorts for high.
Real high up.
Right high up.
I mean, that must have been a hell of a time at Stade.
There was, yeah, it was. That was quite. That was good. I mean, we're still getting over it, you know. But you've remodeled yourself now as a family man, haven't you? I'm sort of coming
just
back.
Living the facade. Just try. Yeah.
You're going full circle.
I have actually.
You're living the truth, Hask.
Yeah, the truth. But no, but you say you're a fan. You're watching it on Saturday nights now, aren't you?
Yeah. So actually, Apollo did us a huge favour a few weeks ago, where Alex kindly, I messaged him, said, "Look, mate, our kids are absolutely obsessed with it. It's sort of like a ritual. Every Saturday night, bang, sit in front of the telly, and then we have to watch it, obviously, 17 times over and repeat afterwards." So I rang him and said, "Look, would you give the kids a call just before bedtime?" And they're sitting having their food, and bang, put the phone on FaceTime, and my two daughters, Lily Mae and Nia, were like, "Oh my God, it's Apollo. It's Apollo. It's Apollo." And then they didn't speak to him for like 2 minutes. It was one of those awkward moments.
Mesmerised.
Yeah, just mesmerised. So we had to just. I was like, he rang, and then had to basically ad lib for 2 minutes. Till one of them said,
"How's life?" Yeah.
I love that. But what? So you obviously have a fan. How did you start? Like, tell us the process of becoming a gladiator. So you finished with the NFL. You came back, and what were you doing?
So I came back.
You went to Bath, didn't you? After that,
yeah. But there was a little bit of a period. It was I guess it was a little bit of a rocky period for me because I came back. My contract finished with the Falcons. Came back, and I was probably looking to go and work out for other teams. I came back in the off season. Went on holiday to Dubai for a week, and as I was coming back, COVID was hitting, right? And at the time, I probably had a split decision to make. Do I go back to the US and set up camp, or do I stay in the UK with friends, family, etc.? And I probably, like everyone, I thought, this thing will be gone in a month or two, and I'll be back out there working out with different teams or whatever. 18 months later, I'm still stuck in the UK. My visa's ran out. They shut all the applications, and without a visa you can't get a team. Without a team you can't get a visa. So I was just stuck in a pretty tough place. But I'd been training the entire time, and got a shot with Bath eventually because I was like, I'm just not going to be able to get back out here. So that kind of like finished fairly abruptly, or maybe I say abruptly, but felt like a slow death. Week by week, month by month, that kind of window was just closing. I thought, well, I'm back here now, and I'm going to get back into rugby. But the first thing I actually did was had a sit down with Eddie Jones.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and we actually spoke about the like central contracts.
Yes,
basically, I reached out to him and said, look, I want to get back into rugby. I'm not that interested in just going and playing for a team and getting stuck in the kind of rigmarole of trying to win people's favour, etc. And at the time he was talking all about the hybrid player, right? And I thought, well, if anyone can do that, it'll probably be me.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of conversations about it. It ended up on the CEO's desk, and then we were trying to push it pretty much. And I thought, well, this is going to be an amazing thing to do as well. Then all of a sudden they let 170 people go or whatever in the midst of COVID, and the next thing was like, well, we can't be seen getting rid of all these people and bringing you in on a central contract.
Right. Okay.
So that was that done. So that was another disappointment, but we move on. Went to Bath.
How was just interrupt? How was Eddie? How was Eddie with it? What was he?
You said the magic word, like Hask has come alive.
No, Eddie, I'm just interested because I know Eddie always looked at other sports, was always looking for those hybrid players. What did he see in you? What was it like? Was he amenable? Because you reached out to him. I mean, that's a great hustle game, that.
Yeah. I put a nice little email together. I put a Arnold Schwarzenegger quote at the very end about...
Which one? Come on.
I'll be back.
Come on.
Get to
What was the
chopper.
quote?
I am back. No, it was about
Amazing.
it was the one where you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets.
Oh, good.
So put it on a postcard.
Done.
Jimmy Carr finishes his emails with death to your enemies. I quite like that.
I saw a
Slightly. I think that would prompt more of a response than yours.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on Instagram the other day.
Jimmy, sorry.
An intro to an email when you're annoyed at someone is, I hope this email finds you before I do.
Look how much you've given so much Arsenal.
I love it. I love that.
This has just turned into a 15-hour podcast of quotes now.
Wait, so much to discuss. Right, so tell me, so he was amenable to that.
So I think obviously, was it just a bit of a coaching ploy from him, that kind of idea of a hybrid player? He wanted someone who could play probably in the back row / centre, a little bit like Bottier does for La Rochelle, right?
La Rochelle, yeah.
But then, the other thing for me was I could go up in a line out or whatever, or play on the wing as well. So,
do you speak to him? Do you meet up with him?
I met with him a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, right.
And then that was, it was very exciting at the time because, as a kid, all I wanted to do was play for England. And that was what I said to him. I was like, look, I've been to the NFL. That was absolutely amazing. But there is that huge itch of playing for my country. I played for England for the Sevens, but that's the big ticket, right? Twickenham, 80,000 people sold out for the 15-a-side team. And I wanted a shot at that. Gave it my best go. We got pretty close, but and he just said, he said, there's just no money, mate. So that was it.
Because he's taking it all, probably.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, I'll do it for free.
And then they fired him. And then he got paid triple
well.
the money and then went to Australia. So win-win.
Then left for Japan.
Basically just all about the cash. I'm interested because the way you talk a little bit about, I know we were joking about Mr. Apollo and kind of sending a letter. That's quite an American way of doing things. I'm getting that vibe from in a good way, but like they do things very different over there. Do you feel like you've absorbed that NFL mentality, like super positivity, super forward, that real high energy where you seize life, the American dream kind of vibe?
Well, yeah, it's that American dream kind of mentality, isn't it? I think I probably have always had a little bit of that in going to America, being surrounded by that. And you see it on all the movies, right? The speeches before the games and everyone's like, oh, it's a bit cringe. But when you're in it, there's nowhere better. It's just because you are part of it, you're living it. Everyone's going the same way, and yes, they're using all the cliche words and phrases, etc. But you're just like, God, this is absolutely amazing. And did it solidify that in me? Yes, but I do kind of think, as an individual, that's always been my kind of in my psyche anyway.
No, because it's quite unusual. It's quite unusual. Like I have a little bit of that kind of, or everything I do is a hustle. You're a hustler as well.
Yeah, but I'll talk us through it because obviously you did the Sevens, and then Atlanta Falcons came on the horizon. I remember chatting to you at the time, like, mate, this is ridiculous. Like, where's that come from? I know 2016 you wanted to hit the Olympics and Rio and whatever else, and that didn't quite happen, right? But what was the process? How did that all come about? Like, because obviously we're seeing it now in the headlines with Louis Rees-Zammit. So just talk us through that sort of process. You were like one of the first sort of pioneers from rugby to actually go and do this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess life's just a funny thing, isn't it? At the time, I thought that was going to be the craziest thing I was ever going to do. And then obviously Gladiators comes along and we top it. But at the time, I missed out on the Olympics, which was just absolutely gutting for me. You put a huge amount into that and thought I probably deserved to be on that plane.
You got stitched. I remember you got an injury, your ankle or something.
Yeah, it was like one tournament before. So we played a couple of warm-up tournaments. And, I was player of the year prior, right? So I was like in pole position, I thought anyway. Got injured in the last warm-up tournament, so played on the Saturday, got injured, team was named on the Monday. And that went against me. I was told I needed that tournament to secure a place, but, it is what it is. And I actually I signed for Leeds in the Championship. And I was like, I went and played centre for them because that was kind of the reason I got into the sevens in the first place. I was playing back row for, had a stellar underage career, probably hit a little bit of, sticky mud, early 20s, coming out with the 20s program. And I had actually, another name drop here in the rugby world. I had a chat with Stuart Lancaster when he was the England guy. And he was saying, look, we've got because he used to be used to look after all the academies.
Yeah,
right?
he did,
He was like the head guy when I was coming up. So, he'd come and visit me at school and I had quite a direct line of contact with him. I sat down with him for some advice and he said, look, why don't you, I've always thought this about you, why don't you, think about playing in the backs? And because we've got they had Manu at the time, but there's not a lot of big centres in the UK, right? And I think they've struggled with that for a while now. So he said, why don't you go to the sevens and do this and, do 2 or 3 years there and come out, get your skills sharp and, see what the Prem has to offer as a centre, right? I thought, yeah, why not? As you know, like go travel the world as a young guy in your 20s and live that up. So I did.
Guy looking old and stuff.
Yeah. So went and did that, had an amazing time, came back, missed out on the Olympics, went and signed for Leeds as a centre. And I thought, right, well, I'm just going to fight back here and climb my way back into the Prem because no one wanted to offer me a deal. And I'd spent hours and hours and hours putting together this highlight reel of myself that's out on YouTube. And I thought it was, the sickest thing I could have ever done. But not a single Premiership team took a nibble on it, right? So obviously that was a bit gutting.
Wrong playlist.
Yeah, it might have been the music actually. I had a bit of Arctic Monkeys on there. I'm not
Did
sure.
you?
Yeah.
Should have gone to the DJ.
Was I even a DJ then? I don't know.
Who knows,
I was probably still playing, wasn't I? I'm messing around.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Probably still play,
Yeah, but the funny thing is that video, while it didn't hit, didn't get anything from a Premiership standpoint, NFL scouts saw that and went mad over it. And they were, we got to speak to this guy. So I was playing at Leeds. I got a call from my agent, and he just said, "You'll never guess what, but some scouts from the NFL UK want to talk to you. Would you fancy having a chat with them?" And I said, yeah. And met them at the London offices. They were selling the American dream to me. They were telling me what the big picture was for the NFL. And basically, long story short, in however many years they want to have a team over here. They want to grow the game. It's as big as it can get in America, right? Yeah. Like it's big. It's
Europe's the focus.
They need a new audience, basically, don't they?
Yeah. In such a media-driven league, it's as big as in America. You either like football or you don't. Like you're not winning anyone over anymore, right? So where else can we go? They want to go into Europe, into the UK. They look at the market of London, the gateway to Europe, and do they want to have a team here, right? But the only way you can do that is by growing a fan base. The only way you can do that is by having players from that local market playing in the league. And that's where I came in. They said, we've been looking for a player for a while. And would it be something, we think you fit the bill? There's a couple of positions you could probably play. Do you fancy giving it a go? And I said, fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. So I went and did some workouts for them just to see if I could actually catch a ball and do all the stuff. And they said, yeah. And they come out to this was in the middle of the season, right? So I just had to give everything up. And Leeds let me do that, and they just said, let's go out to Florida. We'll try and teach you the game. We'll give you 8 weeks crash course. We'll put you in front of some scouts. We'll make you do a combine. Yeah, try and teach you as much about the game as we can, and we'll see if anyone wants to pick you up.
How hard was that to pick the game up?
It was incredibly hard. It was incredibly hard at the time, and then when I joined the Falcons in Atlanta, it was just multiplied because I thought I'd done a lot, right? And I was studying every day. I was practicing every day, working really, really hard. And I get to training camp and I realized I knew nothing, right? And there was stuff I was there for 3 years, and there was things in my third year that I was doing that I was doing for the first time, as in a play course stuff, types of plays. So it was, yeah.
So what happens in those 8 weeks? Is that what Louis Rees-Zammit's now doing?
Yeah. So
same thing, right?
It is. I'd say it's the same thing, but it is also completely different. So when I did it, we were like the canaries down the mine, right? This was a conceptual thing where we were basically, if it works, we'll continue it. If it doesn't, we'll probably scrap it. So there was a lot of pressure in that sense. And we were out in Florida. We were training at some random high school. We were in some random gym, just kind of making do a little bit, right? Whereas now those guys...
Just prepping you for a combine.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. Trying to get us just ready to go in front of scouts, being like, oh, this guy might be able to play or might be able to join in at a training camp or whatever. Whereas now these guys are at the IMG Academy, which, if you want to go there as a student, it costs $70,000 a year. It's probably the most amazing sports facilities you'll ever see on the planet, right? It's an amazing place, and they have position coaches. They have everything there. So they're in a much, and they go for a longer period of time. So that program has just developed and blossomed into an amazing thing. And so has the program as a whole, right? There was 4 of us that started. Now there's spots for each team has a spot. So we could have 32 international players in the league now, which is, is absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, do you think the limiting factor is game understanding? Because one of the things that everybody always talks about with the NFL is that, you can be an incredible athlete, but actually knowing the game, you're competing against guys that have played since college, that absolutely live and breathe it. For some of them, it's an escape from poverty. So it's even double down on a reason to be successful. Is it the game understanding that holds you back? Because that's what they said about Christian Wade, that he obviously came in, had an amazing impact. But if you watch his second run that he had when he broke through, instead of running towards his blockers, he ran towards the posts because of rugby. Basically ran away and got tackled and didn't use his blockers. And because of that, scouts are like, it's not what you should have done. And so they couldn't train him in time to be able to do that. And he didn't have the ability to learn the game. You're basically saying 3 years in, you were still trying to learn the game, which is mental.
Yeah, it's just time in the saddle is ultimately what it is, right? Because there's just so much to learn. And it's not the pressure is so high in that league because everyone's on a day-to-day rolling contract. Players, coaches, you could sign rugby, you sign a 3-4 year deal, where you're going to be for 3 or 4 years. You could sign a 10-year deal in it for an NFL team and then just get rid of you tomorrow. And it's the same for the coaches. So everyone's feeling that bite and you need to win. It's not a development place, that's college. We're playing to win.
So those contracts mean toffee over there, 10-year deal, 400 million. It can be.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you'll see in the news recently, Russell Wilson, huge star of the game, has won a Super Bowl, amazing quarterback. He signed to the Denver Broncos on $80 million guaranteed, and they've just let him go because he's the wrong fit, and they want somebody else. So they still have to pay him $80 million, but they just don't want him in the building.
That's fine. I was thinking he wasn't getting cash.
What happens is you'll see when you watch like Hard Knocks, you'll see there'll be a contract, $50 million guaranteed too. So that it's the guaranteed money that matters. That's why, because Patrick Mahomes is on $450 over 10 years, but he's guaranteed $250. So he's making $250. The rest is bonus and bits and pieces. That's where it doesn't mean anything. Like a signing, you want to get a contract and a signing bonus. Otherwise, they just go see coach. Coach needs to see you. Bring your playbook.
Yeah. Al, all I want to know is what was the quote that you sent the Atlanta Falcons to get in the mix for that one?
Yeah.
I mean. Come on, Eddie Jones didn't quite nibble.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons
can't climb a ladder with your hands in your pockets. What did the Falcons get?
Remembered.
I mean, I was just a starry-eyed boy when I joined that team. There was.
But how did that happen? You did 8 weeks at someone's back garden.
Yeah, did it.
Went to the combine.
Yeah, did 8 weeks.
Local leisure centre.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a nervous wait, right? So we basically got assigned a division which had Atlanta, Carolina. The Saints and the Buccaneers. So it was from those teams. Did they want to take a chance on us? Atlanta were like, yeah, we could do with him. The other guys got divvied up to whoever else. And I'd come back. I was in London. We'd done the 8 weeks, and we'd come back, and we were just waiting. So we were just training and waiting in London with the NFL UK guys, waiting for a phone call, basically. And then they called us into the office one day, and they were like, "It's happening." And they're basically like, "Yeah." I was in the office, and there was like they basically said there's someone on the phone who wants to speak to you. And it was Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and he basically just said, "We'd love to have you join us if you're up for it." And it was a very, very surreal moment, because it's just one of those things that you see it far away, right? You see it on the TV screens. You play Madden on the PlayStation. There's just this great storytelling around the NFL.
Yeah,
and a kid from County Durham to think that you're actually going to go over there and do that and experience that and compete and play. It was just absolutely mind blowing. So
the kid from County Durham.
Yeah, that kid from County Durham there, the emo from Arctic Monkeys.
Twice.
Oh, you look like you'd be seeing drugs don't work.
Yeah. That was my rock. That was my rock era. I'm bringing it back. I need a haircut right now. Actually, I'm kind of bringing it back.
To be fair though, my hair's falling out. I could do that barnet that you've swept across. That's just one
trick, mate. Yeah. That's the trick. Yeah,
that is just also what I remember. If he's obviously single, if there's any ladies who want the emo look or the slightly bigger man, where can they get your highlight reel on YouTube now? Because just in case any birds are confused or
I think it'll probably come under best, most handsome rugby player ever to have lived.
Alex Gray.
Alex Gray.
Okay.
Alex Apollo
The
Gray.
SEO's vying with Hask's show.
Yeah, there's a lot of show reels. Yeah. Well, all my show reels are all made by me.
Yeah.
No, but so you got the call.
Yeah.
You go over there. Were you a big NFL fan, or was it? Because things
Was it just cash? You're like Atlanta Falcons.
Because when I was younger, well, I think it was probably I was 25. I spoke to NFL Europe about doing some stuff. And I realised just too old. I wasn't going to, and I wasn't as good an athlete as you were. But I looked into, explored it, got an agent, was talking to different people, was going to try to do that kind of stuff. And then I realised I was giving up a really good contract with WAS. So I never did it. I wondered, but I wasn't. I was a fan, but I was a fan of the showbiz, the razzmatazz, the athletic ability, and the fact that I was just be a linebacker and just hit people. I know it's very out of character.
I can't believe it.
That I was going to be like that kind of person. Was that what attracted you to it, or was it the fact you were actually a diehard fan? Tell the truth now, because Louis Rees-Zammit reckons he's doing it because his dad played for NFL, which is
his eyes just aren't going with the money sign.
Yeah.
His dad played for like Cardiff.
Yeah, it's such load of nonsense.
Cardiff Buccaneers.
Tell the truth. You want to become a global star that earns an absolute boatload of cash. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that was a big pull for me. I think post Olympic failure, there was an element of probably fell out of love with rugby a little bit, and wanted an opportunity to have my back against the wall again a little bit and just reinvent myself. I know that sounds a little funny, but I just wanted to cut and press play, and that's what this kind of was for me. I knew nothing about the game. I was starting from zero again, right? So there was that huge element of kind of intrinsic motivation to prove myself once again. But yeah, as you said, like the razzmatazz, showbiz side of it is an amazing pull as well, because you just don't really get that anywhere in the UK.
How did it look when you pulled up in the car park in like a Fiat 500 and the rest of them are in like Lambos?
I mean, the car park was a nice place if you're a car lover. Yeah. There was the whole roster of Ferrari.
So just because I imagine lots of people like to know the route that this happens, right? So you get Atlanta Falcons call you up and say they want you in the squad, but that doesn't mean you're in the squad, right? That you're in a training squad. Is that right?
That's
not in the whatever match day squad. Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, so I think if you've been watching or seeing some of the stuff coming out about Louis, there's a lot of numbers quoted, right? 900k offers being put to him, and that is what is offered. That's what you'll sign for, but you'll only make that money if you make the team. The
900k, 5k guaranteed.
Not even, you probably won't be even guaranteed as an international guy.
Yeah. Have you spoke to him? Yeah.
No, not yet. I think he asked for my number from one of the guys at Gloucester that I know, but I've not heard from him.
Only
yet.
if he's got a good quote.
Yeah. I'll only. Yeah. I mean, he's.
What quote would get you to reply?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe something from what's that Rocky one where he's like, "You only hit as hard. Nothing hits as hard as life."
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Something that has to be very American.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Ollie.
Yeah, it'd have to be something very, very American.
Right, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Motivated, but so. As Ollie was saying, so you're in that training squad. You arrived, and what was the vibe after that?
So it was. So basically, you go through. Everyone's got a chance of making a team in pre-season, right? So that was pretty much the same for me. Everyone's fighting for those spots. You basically do pre-season split up into kind of a 6-month kind of haul. So you do what's called mini camp, which is the rookie. At the time, I was a rookie, so you start even earlier. You go in and you just get used to all the play calling and the playbook that we're going to use. You get your hands on it for the first time.
Playbook's like that, isn't it? It's like a Bible.
Well, it is. We have it on iPads now, thankfully. But it was. There's just thousands and thousands of stuff in there, and like every play you'll see written up, there'll be certain little tweaks and certain little depending on what the defense is doing. I've actually gone back to saying defense now rather than defense. I was saying defense for a long time.
Well done.
And as we said earlier, is the hardest part is learning that play. But you have to. I never went to university I went straight into professional rugby, so it was actually like learning how to study again. In some of the days in training camp, man. Training camp will take years off your life. You're in at 7. Sometimes you're not leaving a meeting room with your coaches until past 11 o'clock. And then you're going home and you're quickly studying because you get the plays for the next day, and you're just looking at the plays for the next day, making sure you're all up to scratch. Then you come back the next day and you've got to do it all again. And
if you mess up, for example, in training, because sometimes you only might get one run at it, don't you? Because that's from what I've seen, the guys who are the starters will get most of the reps. You might get one rep, and you have to nail it. And if you fuck it, what happens? Do people shout at you? Will they blame you, or do you just go like head in hands? I mean, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is a pressure cooker. Like the training environment there, every day matters. Every day almost feels like a game day. You've got before you're going out, everyone's got their music in. No one's talking to each other. It's very it's not. I wouldn't say it's
no crack.
Not really. I mean, you are up until maybe 40 minutes before training. then everyone just like that, as you said, for a game, you'd flip that switch. Everyone's kind of in the zone because they know, especially in training camp, you're fighting for a job, you're fighting for a place in the NFL, and they make no bones about it. They are always looking for people to replace you. So day to day, I would go for breakfast, right? This was in training camp, during the season, whatever. You'd go for breakfast with a guy, you're chatting to him, how's your kids, how's your whatever, your family. By lunchtime, there's someone else sat in his spot with the nameplates already changed, and he's gone. And it's and that would happen on a weekly basis. It's not like the rugby environment where a lot of people are from the same place. You grow up through the academy, you come together, you've got a squad together for 5, 6, 7 years. 70% of NFL squads change every year, right? So you've got new faces coming in every single season. I remember turning up for preseason my second year. We needed a squad of 90 people for preseason training. There was 30 of us. They'd changed. The other 60 were yet to be decided. So it is a ruthless place in that sense.
How did that progress? And so you got into it. You're running the reps. Did you get close to getting on an active spot?
You're the first. Let me just write. You were the first British person to captain an NFL team, correct? You captained
first
the
international,
Falcons.
I think. Definitely first British. Yeah, maybe first international. It was for a pre-season game, however much that's worth. But for me, that was an amazing.
That'd be awesome. That'd be an incredible experience.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was, and probably my most favourite sporting moment I had was the speech prior. So we did a meeting. You stay in a hotel when you play games in the NFL. Everyone stays in a hotel, whether it's home or away, the night before, and all the captains have to get up and give a bit of a speech. And I gave one, and I actually got like a stand. Everyone was hollering and whooping, and afterwards,
What'd you go for? Come on, give us an insight. What was said?
I don't know if it was the accent or whatever, but I basically was talking about it was a reflection of my own experience, right? Where it doesn't, as you were saying, it doesn't matter if you're getting 60 reps or you're getting 5. Whatever you get, you've got to make it count. That this is it. This is everybody's dream. You're not going to be. Not everyone can do this. And if you want it, you got to show it. And it was basically something around that.
Yeah.
Around those.
Take
lines.
ultimately,
yeah.
Any given Sunday, got to fight for that inch.
Yeah. And everyone was. It almost like erupted.
Really?
I wish someone had got it on. Maybe they got it on camera.
You're not putting it in the highlight reel.
Yeah, I would.
You're not putting it on the YouTube channel.
If I ever get my hands on that clip, Hask, that's going.
If everyone from the NFL's watching, can we please get it? Because they'll love that.
Atlanta Falcons, can we please have a copy of that?
The Atlanta Falcons are definitely watching. So, okay, so that was the moment you erupted. And then how did you play in the game?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if I was going to be completely honest about my own development, I was a pretty good practice squad player. And the thing is about me as a player, I could do all the flash stuff. I could beat someone one-on-one. I could catch. I could go for a diving catch. I could do all that stuff that not everyone else could do. But what I really struggled with was the things that you had done from a kid, right? Lining up in the right place, like getting off on a snap count when they're like, "Set, hut!" Going off on not jumping off sides and all that type of stuff, where these guys have been doing it. It was just like second nature. That's what I struggled with. I struggled with those little intricacies that most people wouldn't even think twice about. You asked me go and beat this guy one-on-one and score a touchdown against the starters in practice. No problem. Like I could do that. I was doing that week in, week out, and that's probably why I lasted 3 years with Atlanta, because I trained so well. But when it came to the games, in my last year, I was pretty good and probably would have had a shot if I'd gone somewhere else. I kind of feel like with Atlanta, because I'd got so much water under the bridge with them, I was kind of always the international guy.
But do they also see your deficiencies more readily?
Yeah, of course. And I think as an international guy, this is what you're coming up against. It doesn't matter how well you do. You do one, it's like 2 steps forward. You do something bad, it's 3 steps back.
It's the international guy.
Yeah,
again.
exactly. He's
put his helmet on the wrong way.
yeah.
He's walking into walls. All those intangibles. Oh god, he's put the pads on. Oh.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's probably how I felt towards the end. I felt like I'd made huge strides, and where I probably was, talking to some of the senior guys in my room, the guys who I was using for mentorship, they kind of said, "You're probably on par with some of the best tight ends in college." So what I would have loved to is have gone to another team, not the rugby player from the UK, but as a football player, and just been able to have a clean slate and just gone for it from there.
And you would have done that if COVID hadn't happened and you had decided to stay. If you hadn't decided to stay in England and actually gone back to America, that's what would have happened.
Yeah, that would have been the plan. Yeah. My agent, I had an American agent. They were setting up kind of meetings because it's very.
Where were you looking at going? Where was on the horizon?
There was a couple of chats with Tampa. Were one.
Oof.
which they were in the same division as us. And what you normally get is some of our coaches had gone to other places, so they can go and vouch for you a little bit.
Right.
Denver was another one.
Would that have been Tampa when Tom Brady and the
No,
Gronk were going to turn up?
no, I don't think so. It would have been before that golden era for them, and a couple others. But your agent, that's your agent's job, etc. But yeah, that was just how the cards.
Do you feel like it's Do you feel if you were to describe or sum up your NFL experience, how would it? Was it you've left stuff undone? Do you feel like you could have done more? What did you get? Juice, squeeze all the juice out of it. Was it successful? How do you feel about it now?
Obviously, as a competitor, as a sportsman, there's nothing higher than the NFL, right? You're at the absolute top, the absolute ceiling. So for me to be able to experience that after, not going to the Olympics, et cetera, that is not getting any deals from the Premiership, going and doing that. And it gave me that opportunity that I wanted to have my back against the wall, and I had to fight every single day for reps, because it all depends on how well you do. If you do well, you get more reps. Blah blah blah. Knocks on. You do well enough, you get named captain for a game. So every day I turned up to work and almost redefined myself and just reached new limits. I think as a player or as a competitor, as an athlete, but also as an experience as a human being.
Awesome,
I was traveling around America. We would often go to games on a Sunday. We'd often travel on a Thursday.
Come on, talk to us about the off field, right?
Yeah, I was like,
this is
play
great,
stuff's great, but because I read the book, Boys Will Be Boys, but the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
used to have the White House. I won't spoil it. You need to read the book about that. But I just wondered what if there was any outlandish stories, anything mad.
Come on, there's got to be something.
Any given Sunday, did someone chop a car up because they upset them?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was pretty tame compared to the rugby days. I've got to say, the days are just so long. The weeks are just so hard. You just don't have any time. We play on a Sunday, and you're in on a Monday, and then your Tuesday's your day off. So the only time you could really go out is a Monday night. But then they've got other stuff, like when we go to different cities, there's like as a grown man, you're given a curfew and you have to be in bed by 9:30, and all the strength and conditioning staff are coming around knocking on the door.
Yeah, but a load of them are so stupid. I mean, every year you hear about some 5 numpties that have
shot up
shot something up and been daft as a brush.
Yeah,
so there must have been some of that.
I did get told when I first joined the NFL, be careful who you hang around with, because there are obviously some guys in that league who have so much money. They have access to absolutely anything. They can, if they want to get a helicopter down to Miami for the night, they can just do it, right? So, but our team
sounds awful.
Yeah. Our team had a pretty good ethos, I think, in as far as that goes. I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, so
I wasn't involved in any of it.
Let's revisit this. Let's revisit this when the cameras aren't rolling, because I'm going to call massive bullshit on this, but I don't like it.
I actually got asked to join the NFL.
Did you?
Genuinely? Sorry.
Was it an accountant?
Let's rewind that. Yeah, as the bookkeeper.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So in 2009,
is there a senior in NFL that we don't know?
Before I came to Stade, in 2009, I got World Player of the Year. Sorry about that. And
nice that.
Yeah.
At the same time, the Sevens had gotten to the Olympics, and it just coincided with that all happening. They were like, "Oh, we want to do this, Olympic sport, crossover athletes, blah blah blah. Would you be interested in going over? We've lined up 6 weeks to go train with the 49ers in San Francisco."
So you were the pioneer, really.
Yeah.
We're giving me the props, but you sound like you're the pioneer, Ollie.
Last tournament for England at Edinburgh, of all the places where we tanked and lost the series, I did my knee, like a little bit of cartilage, and then I'd signed for Stade.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. I could have gone, done the 6 weeks, and had the op after the NFL bit. Then that would have meant I wasn't ready for pre-season for Stade. And I spoke to Max. Said, Max, I've got this. Would it be possible? And obviously,
no, this is bullshit. Fuck off.
Yeah. And he promised me that I'd be in the Stade calendar.
He was French. Yeah. It was great. He was French.
Yeah.
Good. He was French or Scottish there.
Yeah.
So got binned all round.
Did you?
Yeah.
What would you have been like in the NFL?
Absolutely toilet. But I was going to ask you now, Louis Rees-Zammit, everyone's going on about he did 4.4 or whatever he did in the combine. I mean, is that any good compared to the other boys that you see kicking about there?
Yeah,
is he actually going to do any good?
Yeah, I mean, fast is fast. I would say he absolutely athletically does have the potential to play in the NFL, without a doubt. The numbers he's put up.
Do you think he will? Coming on the spot now.
Yeah. I think
you can answer as Apollo rather than Alex. Yeah. So you can alter it. Ego.
I think he has got as good a chance as anyone. He's got a great starting point with where that program's at. He's got a lot of support. It is hard, right? If he doesn't make it, I wouldn't say that's really anything to do with his ability to make it.
Yeah.
It's just such a competitive place.
So but you're
right?
basically saying athletically, like the same thing for you, but athletically you could do it. It's just will come down to his ability to understand the game and the intangibles or the stuff that is ingrained in the DNA that you would go through college.
I think he does have a good chance. The thing is about the NFL, it's so opportunistic. All he has to do is make the right play at the right time a couple of times, and he's got as good a shot as anyone.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I saw a lot of press about he'll never make it, blah blah blah. And I think people look at. Now, I spoke to some other players, and they're like, well, if you can't do it and Christian Wade can't do it, who can do it?
Yeah.
But it's just such an opportunistic place. If he gets with the right team, with the right opportunity, because there's all sorts of stuff that goes
He's
on.
had 3 teams, hasn't he, come sniffing?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I think he's got to be careful. I heard him quote, who has the right plan for me? I'm telling you right now, none of them have a plan for you. Their plan is to win football games, right? And you're either going to be a part of it or you're not. So I wouldn't get lured in by the chat of, oh, we'll develop you this way, blah, blah, blah. Because as I said earlier, you got to Russell. You're starting quarterbacks earning 82 million. You have to pay him 82 million. They've got rid of him, right? So if they get rid of a guy like that, because the thing is, Louis Rees-Zammit is a great athlete, but he's not. I don't know if you guys know Jordan Mailata, the guy who signed for. He was part of the international player program. He was no line, 6'9", 350 pounds. Like he's a dinosaur, right? You don't find those type. Louis Rees-Zammit isn't one of him,
No.
right? You know what I mean? There are other guys who are athletically as gifted as Rees-Zammit, but as I said, opportunistic. If he can make some plays in the preseason. You just don't know. You just don't know. He's got a shot. He's good enough to be there.
Because we've got Jordan Mailata, who was obviously with the Rabbitohs under 20s to the NFL. He won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. He's done very well. We've had F.A. Obada on here, who actually has got a slightly better story in regards to when he got the phone call. He was actually working at 4 a.m. in the morning, stacking flowers at a big nursery in London, and got called by the Dallas Cowboys. And they were like, called him up and said, "We'd like you to, come over and train." And he was like, whatever, and put the phone down. It's like, whatever. They called him back again. So being invited to the coach obviously is a big moment, but I think working at 4 a.m. in London, stacking shelves with flowers is
if you don't know about FA's story, it's definitely something to check out. He's one of a kind. He really is.
Because he got smuggled from Europe into the UK.
Yeah, he's done it the hardest way possible.
Yeah.
Right? And he's such a good advocate for the game, for people in his community in London, to be able to see him, what he's done with what little he was given, right, is amazing. Like, because that's who I came with the pathway with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and him were in the same year.
Right, awesome.
Yeah. So we got to know each other really well. And he's still going strong, right? He's with the Commanders now.
Yeah, he broke his leg last year.
Yeah, he got injured, but they've re-signed him, which is testament to a guy like him. They've got injured, they've re-signed him because they see value in him, right? And he's sticking around. I think he's going on 7 years in the NFL now, which is absolutely wild, because the average is 3 years in the NFL, right? So they call it the NFL not for long.
No,
the not for long league.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So he's I can't speak highly enough of him.
He's a great guy. We had him on. He told us about his journey. We went through the whole thing. I think he was waiting to become a free agent. Which happened last year, because he wanted to be signed to a free agent because he could then get unlimited money or whatever he's worth.
Yeah.
And I think
he can look at the market. Right?
Look at them, as opposed to kind of being fixed money. Well, it's time for our Continental Tyres question of the week, and we get normally sent these in from viewers and listeners. We've got millions of them, but we've got a very special one today because Ollie Phillips has got a number of children, and they have submitted a number of children,
not something he doesn't know about.
All known. They've submitted a question. Ollie, do you want to play it?
Yeah. So I mean, Al, you've obviously met these two already, right?
Yeah,
but
the crazy
my
bunch.
2 daughters, Lily Mae and Nia. I didn't ask Alfie because he would have been a disaster. But this is the first one from Nia. Hold on.
Apollo, why did you put someone in the ball thingy when you were playing Powerball?
So I think that is a reference to when you dumped someone in the power bin just to sort of show off on Gladiators.
I mean, I'll do anything for a bit of screen time. Why did I do it? I'm the biggest, baddest, meanest guy on TV.
You gave a good quote after that. And then this is another one. This is actually in reference to me and Hask.
If you were against Daddy in June, who do you think would win?
No doubt. On the jewel, mate.
Well, first thing I do is make sure you've got some medical insurance in place, because I wouldn't want to, or some life insurance. I wouldn't want to be leaving those two without a dad.
The over 65. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, mate, Mr. Apollo can sweep in and just pick out the pieces. I think Mrs. Phillips would be quite happy with Mr. Apollo's coming.
She'd love it. Yeah. I mean, she'd be
What? So you'd reckon fill Ollie in on that, do you think?
Absolutely.
I just stay low.
Yeah, I
stay
think
low and squat.
he's quite squat and low. I don't know.
Hask could be off in seconds.
Yeah, I'll be straight. My ankle arthritis would fall straight off the thing.
It's tough up there for bigger guys because
Yeah.
it actually wobbles.
Thank you, Lily May and Nia, for your Continental Tyres question of the week. You're both fantastic. And turns out that your daddy would get beaten by Mr. Apollo. Sorry. I mean, we talked off camera about, we're going full circle now back to the Gladiator stuff, but like, how full on is it? Did you actively kind of, have you been told to tone it down? Because I can imagine live show, fired up, ready to go. You see these guys, and obviously human psychology, someone could come in looking like $1 million, like, oh wow, they could be powerful. I don't want to get embarrassed. Have you been told to told to calm down?
He's already done 2 ACLs.
That's what I mean. The knee collector.
Yeah. Tone it down, no, but I think so. So the first thing we ever filmed was Powerball. It was the first Powerball we did, and obviously first game of the series, first time being a gladiator out there in the costume. There was a crowd going wild, and we also didn't know what the contenders were going to be like. And I don't know why he did it, but the first guy literally just took a beat. I think what I was told was apparently in their changing room in the back, apparently the contenders were being like, let's set the tone here, let's get straight into it, blah blah blah. And I didn't know this till afterwards, but I could see from the get-go, because he literally just ran straight at me. And I thought, I'm about to be on live TV here as Apollo. Like, there's no way you're doing any damage to me here. So yeah, that game ended up being an absolute bloodbath. And I think afterwards we were like, well,
Start you mean to go on?
Yeah, let's just keep it going. But like, I've got to say, the guys who come on there and do those games against us, like,
do you have any crack with them?
Yeah, they're all really, really good people.
Yeah, nice to meet you. A bit like NFL, nice to meet you. Now I'm going to go in.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. But it's a tough time for them because they're just getting battered like nonstop in all the different games. And we filmed everything in within 12 days. So sometimes they didn't even get a day off in between ass kickings, right? So
so all of those, like,
yeah, everything was. It was pretty much every day we filmed an episode. So it was tough. It was tough on them. It was even tough on us, right? I know we were probably on the better side of the equation there, but it was a crazy time because of all the adrenaline as well. You come out and you do a game and it's the most amazing thing ever. Then you got to come back and you got to chill out for a couple of hours and you go out again. It was a mad experience. But yeah, there was a few names taken in those games for sure.
With your character, because you haven't had any sort of acting experience for it. Were you told to be Mr. Apollo and this is the way you're going to do it, or were you all vying for attention? Because we all remember Wolf back in the day, Hunter back in the day. The Wolf was Mr. Nasty, still gets booed now. Were you told to that? Have you just gone, I'm going to just go with it. I'm going to try to get as much sort of limelight as I can. Just, I would. You know me.
You get a lot of routes, right? You get thrown in a lot.
Yeah. And I think what I was conscious of was that it was going to be something new for me. While there is a competitive element like that, my sports background would lend itself very well to. I also realized it is something new, that it is like a step in a different direction. So what I really wanted to do, and I probably didn't really start doing this until getting into the swing of it until halfway through the series, was because what I didn't want to do was a copy and after, because you get 15 seconds after a game, right? And I didn't want to be the copy and paste sportsman. Yeah, they did really well, but I was just a little better. We'll go on to the next game.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. I've done that for the past 15 years. I want to do something else. I want to expand. I want to develop myself, and that's what the challenge has been. But what they said was they wanted the most exaggerated version of yourself, right? And I think I was kind of billed as.
I'm legally not allowed to do that.
That would be a total disaster for you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And I think what they brought me in for was the kind of handsome heartthrob, kind of boy next door kind of guy.
Right. Housewife's favourite.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But the guys, the entertainers that I really love are the people like The Rock, Ric Flair, Chael Sonnen from MMA, who they have good chat, they've got good mic skills, right? So it's like I want to try and develop myself in that way, in some way, without being too forced. I want it to be natural. I don't want to be like some gimmicky person trying to come up with one-liners, etc. Right? So
Like you can't climb a ladder with hands in your pockets. That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I want to be cringe, but not too cringe.
Fine.
So yeah, I think it was that's the development for me as an entertainer
Fine.
now, right? Is I knew I was going to be good at the games, but I also know there's going to be 10 million people watching and they need to be entertained. So like, what is the mixture of that?
Did you get to pick your? Oh,
There's a ghost.
Apollo's power.
Apollo's power.
Showing through, mate.
Oh dear.
Emanating.
Well, that
What's
was
happened
terrifying.
there?
What's happened there? Johnny May's
See,
had it.
Johnny
Mate,
May's
do you know why?
cool.
Because you've been so articulate and given so many good answers, but you're not as quirky as Johnny May. Johnny May's just thrown himself off because he knows he could be replaced. See you, Johnny.
Did you get to pick your name? Because I've sort of had a look before coming on as like potential
Oh, I like this.
Gladiator names for Hask and I. But did you pick yours?
No, they picked mine. They gave me a couple of options, but when they said Apollo, I was like, yeah, I like that.
I'll take that.
I was
yeah.
like,
You
without
shut up,
without
yeah.
absolutely screaming and jumping out my skin, I was like, I think that's fine. Yeah, let's do that
Oh
one.
God, Apollo. Oh, do I want that
Is
one?
that, you're Apollo, the god of the sun, is what you're talking about, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I had a look for Hask and I. So Hask, I came up with Momus for you, the god of satire, mockery, and criticism.
Momus.
Yeah,
I could take
Momus,
that.
Yeah.
I was Hades. I thought personally when I was looking at Hades, God of the
Yeah, I thought you.
Underworld.
But I thought you'd go for Zeus actually, but I downgraded you.
No, know your skill set. I'm definitely Underworld.
Erebus, well, I thought the personification of darkness because you go a bit wild on that.
Erebus.
Dark guy, that's kind of nice, yeah.
And then for me, my wish list was I'd like to be Pallas, so the Titan god of battle and warcraft.
Yeah, but you get done for trade description. They go, mate, you get arrested for fraud. They were like,
fraud. Yeah. So then I thought Hask and I both would love to be Eros, the god of love and desire.
Yeah,
but
nice.
I think it's a big stretch, that one.
There used to be a lot of sex shops in Soho called Eros.
Did they? How do you know that? Ross?
I led to believe.
Led to believe.
As you were walking
led to
past.
believe.
Yeah.
But then where I stumbled, I thought we'd finish on for me would be Nereus, and that is the old man of the sea.
Yes,
The old
Nereus. Nereus and Momus.
A well-travelled old man. Yeah,
Nereus and Momus.
Nereus
That's
and
us.
Momus and Mr. Apollo.
With Apollo, loving life.
How,
There you
just
go.
in terms of the other sort of gladiators, is it very competitive between you two? Have you become a team? Do you walk in and go, fuck, he's looking bigger than me. I need to go and do the gym, like because it must be, but or you a team.
Nah, I mean, there's no rivalry when you're number one, Hask. Everyone else is just fine for a second.
So many slogans. I can't love it yet, right?
No, it is a good team. There's a good team environment. We haven't got any kind of not yet anyway. We'll see after the success of the first season if anyone kind of turns into a diva or whatever. But they're all really, really good people,
Okay.
and they're all good in their own way. And I think whoever the producers, the casting directors, etc., made a really good point and have done a really good job of bringing a diverse group together. Where some people are good at some things, some people are good at others. We all look a little different, right? You look at some of the guys who've been in bodybuilding for however long, compared to some of the more athlete, type people.
Did you write in for that one?
Which one? The bodybuilding guy?
The Gladiator. Did you write in for it, or do you?
No,
Did you write a letter?
Another letter for that?
No, I was all out of inspirational quotes. I'd burnt my book of inspirational quotes by that time. No, so the basic way that happened was so going all the way back to like what was going on prior. I'd played for Bath. Was told I was getting a contract, but didn't. Then went onto the free market and was getting, oh yeah, we're really interested because of the NFL thing.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to have every cat and their dog wanted to have a chat with me about what could you do, blah blah blah. So I was speaking to a lot of teams. A lot of teams said, "Oh, we'd love to like give you a deal." I actually trialed for a few teams, and then it was just, "Oh, actually visa issues," or "No, can't do this, too much money," blah blah blah. So it was no. I was just thinking, God, am I actually ever going to get a team at this point? And then an old agent of mine, Stu Watkins from Osman, he basically messaged me saying, we've had a production company on the phone asking if we know anyone who'd be suitable. In the way he said it was, they've asked if they're putting together a team of superhumans. And I thought, Jesus, am I getting scouted for the Avengers here? Like, am I about to go and save the world?
There has been some. Honestly, the editor of this, Editor Tom, is like, we need to cut some of these amazing just lines up, just like
So Hask can remember them all?
Accidental Mr. Apollo, just, superhuman Superman. Yeah.
So they were like, we're putting together like they wanted to, at the time it was labeled superhumans, right?
Right.
And I was like, well, you got the right guy here.
I just need to check my email because I don't think I got one.
Might be in
Junk spam.
Yeah.
Have a look at the spam.
It might be in the junk.
Yeah.
And basically they were like, would you be interested? And I was like, you know what? And this is going back to like the kind of mindset, I want to see what's out there in the world. Probably a little bit like both of you. You've done so much with your careers, with your lives, etc. Right, in different levels. You want to know what's out there in the world. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. So they asked me to do like a video audition, and I did it, and I acted up and stuff. And
Oh, come on, mate! What was in there?
Where's that?
Come
video?
on, you can't leave us that.
Did you do it like? Have you seen that bloke who tries to do the nunchucks thing, hits himself in the head, does a backflip, falls through the back of the thing?
No,
Did you go, I'll show you.
I'm trying to remember what I.
Don't pretend you don't. Remember.
Did you
know?
like? Did you put like a smoke machine and like turn around?
No. It was pretty.
Look, he's so excited about this.
I think the one thing I can remember that I think got them laughing was it was like you had to describe yourself, and I said, I was like, I first described myself as the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. I called myself the Beast from the Northeast, and I was like, I said I'm 6'5",
Ain't nothing more alive.
yeah, 6'5", 112 kilograms, can run 100 meters in 11 seconds. My mum says I'm very handsome. Or was that your mum? And then I can't remember.
That show is right there.
Good,
So I said that and sent it off. And
did all this come to you just in 30 seconds? You had to plan this.
A little bit. I was like, what do I say? Like?
Did you put a leotard on?
No. I was just I was literally in my bedroom.
That's why you lost it, right?
I was in my bedroom, just selfie stick, which
Were there posters of you all around the bedroom?
thinking now that's exactly what I should have done.
Yeah.
But so did that, and then they enjoyed that, I think, and they said we'd love you to come down and do some screen tests, etc. So I went to London and did some stuff in front of camera.
In spandex?
No, just in your
own spandex.
in sportswear.
Yeah.
In sportswear.
Your own branded kit with just motivational quotes.
Yeah. There was a picture of me. There was a picture. Have you seen that? The Donald Trump campaign was like "Make America Great Again."
Yeah.
I had a picture of me, and it was like "Make television great again." Is what was on it.
So good.
Yeah, amazing.
So I did that. Went down and did it. But at the time, it wasn't Gladiators. It was they were just basically trying to pitch to the BBC.
Right.
They were trying to bring it back. It wasn't official.
Oh, right.
So this was like 2 years prior to filming. And from there, they were like, right, that's great. We'll be in touch.
And then nothing for 2 years.
So it was like probably over a year, definitely. And I was like, well, God, if this comes up and I'm like playing, or if I get injured, blah, 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 I can't be doing that. So I went and got a job in an office for a year and a bit.
Just throwing people around on photocopiers. And
What were you doing?
I went into executive search recruitment. And I know a lot of them will be watching this. So
Did you? Or did you spend? I can only imagine the chat on the phone.
No.
convincing someone to take a job.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Like, it was pretty novel, right? Because like the first time I'd been in I went into professional rugby, so I hadn't even I haven't worked next to women for like however long since I was at school, right? There were parts of the job that were, especially coming from, once you've done something you've loved, right? You can never find, and I was like, God, I hope this TV thing comes off, because like, I'm not sure if I can face another 30 years of this. Yeah. So I did that for a year, and then all of a sudden it was, I was getting sporadic every month or so, and I was pestering them all the time, being like, any news? And then after, probably 6 months prior to, or maybe less than that, maybe like 3 months prior to filming, they were like, the BBC have commissioned it. We're going ahead. We're putting out like to the public that you can audition to be a gladiator. And I was just thinking, oh God, great. And then they got it, basically whoever they'd picked, I think there was about 200 people, maybe more. And they basically just then put us on like training days and like physical tests, screen tests, all that type of stuff. And we were told it was going to be 5 tests on the day. We ended up being 12, and we just had to go through them, and we just had to do as well as we could.
Well, like what kind of tests? Like what?
So a lot of it was like, so the guy who did it was actually, he's a CrossFit guy, so a lot of them were very like CrossFit-esque, which is like my arch nemesis, really, especially as like a games player. So there was like max pull-ups, I had to learn how to climb a rope, there was like sled pushes, there was like explosive like power throws, and we did like shuttles and agility tests and stuff, and the only really interesting one, we did like a one-on-one contact drill.
Just ending everyone.
Well, you were put up against one other person, I was put up against like some huge bodybuilder, and I absolutely ended him, so I think that's why they put me in. Yeah.
For some reason I can't get out of my mind. Do you remember the old Reebok advert?
Terry Tate, office
Terry
linebacker.
Tate, office linebacker.
I swear on my life. I swear on my life. As soon as he said he works in the city, I was about to say, "You're an office linebacker."
Just booming,
just hitting
everyone.
people. You kill it, you feel it. I love that.
How? Just one question. How disappointed were you when you eventually it was Gladiators? You turned up and you thought Eureka Johnson, the equivalent, is going to be on, and you get Bradley Walsh. I mean,
he's a funny guy though. He's good. I mean, him and Barney were both good. They're both really nice guys.
No, you're angling for Series 2, so don't worry. It's fine.
I mean, we should probably touch a bit on the rugby. Well, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm actually going to Hong Kong Sevens. I've never been. I got selected as a player to Sevens. Never made it through injury. Supposed to play the Lion against the Lions. They never made it either. I'm very excited to go. You've both played there. What can I expect?
Wild place, isn't it?
Wild
Hong Kong.
I was actually in the team the last time England won.
That would have been amazing.
That was a good time.
But talk me, what's so good about it? What's going to be exciting? I mean,
And also, mate, just to give you some more context, when you're going,
Yes.
it's the last time that the Sevens is being played in that stadium. It's closing down after that. They're building houses. And it's at one point it was the most valuable piece of real estate in the world. That site. where you go
Really?
to, yeah. So they're knocking it down, building apartments, whatever on it now. Memories. Al?
Yeah, that South Stand is rocking,
Oh,
isn't it?
mate.
I think it's their biggest annual event in Hong Kong, isn't it?
It is an amazing experience.
I'm going there.
You will have
4
the best
days.
time, yeah.
We're going to recording Good Bad Rugby podcast. Ben Kays is out there. The whole team's out there.
Yeah.
I'm obviously want to thank the Hong Kong tourism.
I mean, there will be a lot of good, bad, and rugby. Yeah,
Yeah.
in Hong
They
Kong.
will.
That's all we can say, really.
He is good, isn't
But
he?
Hask, you are going to be part of history, right? The last time it's ever going to be played in that stadium, it is going to.
Because normally wherever I play, it's the last time I ever get invited there.
Yeah.
So at least
So
you
at
can't
least
blame
can't
the
ever be
event.
there again.
Yeah, at least can't blame me shutting down the event.
No.
Not fancy doing a Hong Kong Tens appearance.
I can't run anymore.
Ah, fair.
Yeah, that's why I don't
don't-
really
don't
try-
You pulls that one out all the time. Can't run.
can't run, can't do anything. Well, thank you to Hong Kong Tourism Board and Hong Kong China Rugby for the invite. The tournament's going to be mega. I'm DJing. Lots of stuff to be seen out there. We will be doing a podcast, I think, maybe in the South Stand, potentially, but if it's too chaotic, somewhere around there, because I'm not sure.
It's the best atmosphere. I mean, it is a flagship in the Sevens tournament. It is the the jewel in the crown, if you like. It is. I'll be honest, it's what keeps the game going. I think that tournament, because it's so special, and the atmosphere. You wait till you get there. The atmosphere, the whole of basically Eastern Asia comes and descends into Hong Kong for that.
I'm excited.
Weekend, yeah.
Alex, final question for you. Rugby, NFL, Gladiators, what's next and what haven't you done?
Hopefully, season 2 for the Gladiators is the next thing on the horizon. If I'm going to be completely honest, I feel the Gladiators feels good, man. It's a hell of an experience. It is something I would love to do for the next 10 years. The original show went on for I think it was nine series, maybe more. If we could replicate that in any way, I think
Is TV something you want to get into in general?
I think so. Yeah. Now that I've seen the entertainment side of it, because as I said, I worked in the city for a year. I played professional sports for 15 years. I kind of feel like I need something that has that energy about it. This show is probably pretty unique, right? The Gladiators thing. But it's amazing for me because I love the showbiz element, the entertainment, the trying to move into a new space, but I also love the competing of it, right? I still love getting out there and doing games in front of a crowd. It made me realize what I actually loved about playing sport at the highest level was the oohs and the ahs and the electric feeling you have in a stadium. So yeah, as long as I can hold on to that, that's what I want to do.
When you quoted The Rock, well, you didn't quote The Rock, you talked about The Rock. He went into acting. That's a natural progression from where you are now to maybe doing movies.
Yeah, I mean...
What would be a film, mate?
What would be my film?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd want to be one of them lock, stock action heroes, right? Like diving through windows and... I tell you what, next Superman...
No way you'll fit
I
through a
don't know-
window.
I could see you in like a Guy Ritchie movie. It's like,
Yeah.
Do you think?
Just call everyone a slag and a mug. And
I'd tell you what the absolute ultimate would be getting to a superhero film, wouldn't it? Superhero actor.
Well,
Superman-
I think you might be a superhero in your own lifetime as it is anyway.
I don't know if you heard Hask. He name dropped. He knows Superman.
I do,
Oh,
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
If you could,
Have a word.
Have a
Yeah.
word.
Well, if anyone's...
if he's given up the cape already, hasn't he?
the cape's gone,
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
it was taken away.
I'll get the next one. The next
You
one.
do have a bit of Clark Kent about you.
That's actually what was in the description for me. You're going to laugh, but that's what they were saying.
Did you write this description again? Because I've been described as a pleasure to be around just by me. That's about
And Apollo has been described as Superman with a sense of humour.
Well, on that note, you've been listening to The Good, The Bad and The Rugby with Alex Gray, Ollie Phillips and myself, James Haskell. If you like your Gladiators, then please do check out The Good, The Scars and The Rugby, where we had Jodie Ounsley, a.k.a. Fury, talking all about her exploits. It's a fantastic episode, so please go back and listen now. Thank you to our good friends at Continental Tyres. We're a Folding Pocket production. This episode was produced by Tom Edwards.